Hello, America. I'm Richard Dixon, your host of AmericanVotingShow.com, where you, the viewing audience, get to weigh your decisions on the topics we're about to discuss today. Our discussion today on our show is Environmental Protection Agency, known as EPA. So let's just dive right into show number 4. December 2nd, 1970, a former president of our country, Richard Nixon, not Richard Dixon, signed a bill that opened up this department known as Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. And I'm sure in the beginning, it was done for a very, very worthwhile cause. But wow, again, since inception, has it gone like out of control? Did you know that our government spends $8.6 billion a year of our taxpayer money on this department known as EPA? And it employs like 17,000 plus employees. So if you do the math, divide 17,000 into 8.6 billion, some people are making some money. Now, I'm not saying let's just like throw in the towel and just do away with the office, because we do need our waters and our airs controlled and protected. I mean, that's good for all of us. Only thing I'm saying is, let's just be reasonable about it. Be reasonable. Because what's happening is that the department has gone so overboard, it's stifling the growth of American manufacturing. If you'd notice, like what I've seen, we're getting less and less manufacturing in this country. And take, for instance, like the industry that's hit hardest is manufacturing and like trucking. There's such an overwhelming amount of monies that have to be spent, okay, over and beyond the average cost of doing business, that most American manufacturing companies are just saying, wait a minute, we need to make more bottom line. It's not more so that they're moving facilities overseas for the sake of greed, but more of a need. They need to be able to compete with what's going on. And it also doesn't help the fact that a lot of consumers, because the recession is pretty deep, they're buying more and more of imported products in order to save money, which basically is cutting our own throats. So you see the domino effect that's happened. Okay, we are spending more money on foreign products, which we're going to talk about in another show. But what's happening now is that we're doing less and less manufacturing in this country due to other, like I said, stifling regulations imposed by the EPA. If you watched my last show, I talked about the Department of Energy and how many hundreds of billions of taxpayer money that is spent, and yet we're still burning gasoline and burning coal. Now, EPA, if they had their hands the way they wanted to do it, they'd probably knock down another 180,000 people out of jobs in the coal industry. So again, we have all these multiple legs of the government that I believe are trying to do what's best for the country or for their department, but yet they're canceling each other out. That's what's creating, again, like I said, unemployment. We're shipping more jobs overseas, okay? And it's not helping us here in this country. Just recently, you can check this link below, you'll see where the court has ruled against the favor of Environmental Protection Agency. And thank God, I'm glad it happened, because again, this is where we as citizens of this country need to address issues, okay? Because we're the people living in this country. We have to live here, pay our bills, pay our taxes. And again, the government, I'm sorry, is not always right. Okay, I don't know how you feel about this matter, but I kind of view EPA as a national unemployer, where we're shutting down more manufacturing and we're putting more people out of jobs, out of work. And therefore, it's kind of like the welfare system in this country, which we're going to talk about in another show. And it's like we're going to pay a department to make sure that more people don't work. And again, this is one of the reasons why creating jobs is such a difficult task in this country. And this EPA situation is not helping. And I'm really frustrated about it all, to be honest with you. So I went out to you, America, to see what your thoughts were. How do you feel about our federal government spending $8.6 billion a year on Environmental Protection Agency?
I think the Environmental Protection Agency is expenditure expense for the federal government to spend that kind of money for what they do, especially when a lot of the jobs are closing up and going overseas, and these other companies are making more money due to relaxed EPA regulations, so to say, in other countries, i.e. China, Europe, Indonesia, stuff like that. So if we could relax some of that stuff and bring the jobs back home and relax on EPA and the fines and the stringent of them, it'd be a much better place, and probably do a lot of hiring.
Well, Richard, I tell you, the EPA probably started out as probably a good idea, but it's gotten way, way, way out of control. Just spending too much money, putting too much regulations, especially on the transportation industry, which is part of. I spent 29.5 years in the transportation industry, and it's just almost impossible to keep up with all the regulations, and the cost of keeping up with all these regulations is more burdensome than the taxes are that we have to pay to support the EPA. So I just think it's a bad idea all the way around.
Well, here's my thoughts. And if we could hold air in place in mobile and water as well, then what I have to say holds no validity. But however, the last I remember, and I picture this as Earth, it revolves every day and around the sun. And if we have manufacturing companies in other countries without the stringent EPA regulations, and say they're polluting the air, that lets me know that I'm either breathing pollution 2-3 days before or after the process. So by us having less manufacturing here and more manufacturing in other countries, and the national unemployment as it is, we're back to square one. You gain 5 million jobs, you lose 5 million jobs, and that's why the national unemployment is where it's at. Okay, America, here's what we're going to vote on today in our show. Number 1, vote yes, we should keep EPA as it is right now, or no, reduce it by 50%. Second part of our vote today is deregulate some of the non-life-threatening issues imposed by the EPA. Vote yes, we should deregulate, or no, we should not deregulate. Okay, America, you know what to do. Vote yes, vote no, and I need your votes. And by the way, if you have other ideas of subject matters that you think we should have on the show, kindly check my email listed below and send me an email. I'd be more than happy to respond. You have a wonderful day, a great life, and I'll see you next time on our show.